Now, a lot of my videos, I talk to black men because most of the time, white men don't have this issue unless they're from like a very ghetto area or they're from like a small town and they don't have any exposure to high end lifestyle or etiquette. For the most part, white men don't have these issues. I see a lot of black men with these issues. And these issues pertain to how you carry yourself, how you present yourself, and how you speak. Because a lot of you, like, honestly, I always say it. I grew up in a very white neighborhood, and I had white chicks all over me. So for me, white chicks, it was never, it was never an exotic thing. To me, black chicks are exotic, which is interesting. I know, but it's because I didn't grow around them. So it's something exclusive and exotic to me, right? But a lot of these black dudes in the States, in these black neighborhoods trying to get at white chicks, they have nothing going about themselves to pull a real white chick. They might get some straggle. They might get like a ghetto white chick or some type of chick from the hood, that's got all kind of weird tattoos. I'm not against tattoos necessarily. I'm saying like weird tattoos. Tattoos that look like she got them in a jailhouse. Those are the type of white chicks that y'all be pulling. You want to pull some quality white chicks, you got to step it up. Okay, number 1, you got to work. Get yourself a job. Get at least a steady income. Don't be out here, starving, suffering, trying to pull a white chick cuz you may pull one, but she's going to be trash. The next thing is work on your etiquette. Now, when I say she's going to be trash, people will get triggered. But I know from experience that there are tiers of any race of women, but there are tiers of white chicks. And if the chick doesn't know how to behave, she doesn't know how to dress, if she shows up to the restaurant wearing yoga pants, if she doesn't know how to conduct herself in a dinner, she doesn't know how to push her chair in, there are little signs, the way she speaks, she's not polite, she doesn't say thank you, she doesn't say please. These are things that people should be learning at 5, 6, 7 years old. So there's no excuse for a chick not being able to say thank you or, pardon me instead of, huh, what, you know, because the same way she'll act like that to you, you may be in a very nice situation with, you may be at a meeting to have a business opportunity or a job opportunity, and you may be dealing with some people, some high echelon people, and you show up with this chick and she looks like you pulled her off the road, right? So that'll reflect badly on you. But how you gonna get this is you need to step your game up. You need to step your stuff up. You can't be walking around with your pants, down at your ankles. If you're above 17 years old, like you need to look presentable. I tuck my shirts in now. I tuck t-shirts in. I don't care. I don't care if people are looking at me like I'm Urkel because I'm pulling high-end white chicks. I don't care, right? So you need to speak a certain way. You need to learn the proper way to speak, right? I see a lot of people now. This is an epidemic, especially with content creators on YouTube. I hear a lot of people saying, and this is not just black dudes, so I don't want to throw black dudes under the bus. I hear a lot of people saying the plural of woman, they're saying woman. Like one woman, two woman. Number 1, the plural of woman is women. You have one woman, you have 2 women, 3 women, 10 women. So I don't know. This is spreading like the plague because a lot of people are consuming content, and some of these people have thousands of views, tens, hundreds, millions of views, and they're saying 10 woman. So that's number 1. You need to know what words you're using and how to pronounce them and how they're defined. You dressing chic and wearing your $1,000 shoes and pulling up in your fancy car, it can only go so far because you can't fake class. I could get off the bus, or I could get out of a beaten up Honda from 20 years ago. I could still have more class than some dude getting out of Benz just because of how I was raised, how I grew up, and the fact that I know how to speak properly, I know how to carry myself properly, and I have etiquette, right? Honestly, for this video, I'm just concentrating on language because I hear so many people misusing, mispronouncing, or just not able to properly converse in English. And English is their mother tongue. They don't speak any other languages. They grew up speaking English. They always been speaking English. And they just can't speak English, right? It's one thing to speak in a colloquial manner and try to speak in a way that people understand. I'm not trying to use huge fancy words just for the fun of it, but you should have a diverse enough vocabulary that you can use words in place of other words. You're not always reusing the same words, right? There are many words that you can use that mean the same thing. Get a thesaurus if you want to. And for this, I partially blame music nowadays, because if you look at hip hop, for example, which is very popular amongst many communities, not just black people, but many people listen to modern day hip hop, modern day rap. And when you look at rap from the 90s or the 80s, these people were lyrical geniuses. These people were putting young men on game, right? These men actually knew how to use different words to describe the same thing. They had metaphors, they had simile, and I find that music nowadays, in terms of hip hop and rap, is very dumbed down. You look at someone like Drake, who's very popular, right? If he uses some kind of preschool metaphor or some kind of very childish simile, he's got to explain it in the next bar because people's minds are not working how they used to. The average person nowadays, they can't make a connection between a personification of an item and making that in reference to something else in a rap lyric. They're just not capable of doing that because everybody has TikTok brain, Twitch brain, and everybody's just scrolling through these reels and they got a 7-second attention span. They're not reading any books. They're not learning any new words or new terminology. They don't have any expertise in much near anything. So they can't make these connections. And if you have music with language that's too complicated, it's not going to pop off because people don't even know what you're talking about. So it doesn't hit because they don't even know how good your bars are because they don't know what you're talking about. So now I blame music. I blame modern culture in terms of social media. And again, I go back to a lot of these content creators who don't even know how to speak. If you're in content creation, in a sense, this is a job where you are a public speaker. So I don't understand how these people are on the internet. They claim that they're making a living as a public speaker and they don't even know how to speak. But that's another story. So you need to have decorum. You need to be presentable. I say it all the time in terms of dealing with police. If you look presentable, a lot of people in the US want to talk about racial profiling. Okay, your skin will get profiled to a certain extent, but it's also how you dress. If you're wearing an oversized tee with a giant AK-47 on it, the police is going to be on edge. So these are the things you should be considering. And if you're trying to step your game up in terms of women, you need to work on yourself first. If you're only pulling chicks out the gutter, you need to look at yourself and say, look, why am I attracting this type of chick? Or why are these type of chicks around me? I don't have these types of chicks around me because I don't even look at them. I could see right away. I could look at a chick. I don't care if she's pretty. She could be beautiful. But I can tell right away just by, is she looking at her phone? Just by, you see people around her, you'll see a child around her, you'll see a family around her. How is she looking at these people? You could see her vibe of how she's looking at the people and things around her. You need to be sharp. These are indicators. You need to be sharp looking at these women because they're giving you all types of indicators into the type of person that they are. And it's very simple. Once you learn how to see it, it's very simple. You could have twins that look the same and were raised in completely different situations. And they look exactly the same, identical. But one will carry herself completely differently than the other. And they likely will have different lifestyles because of that. So you got to decide, what kind of lifestyle do you want? If you want a hood chick, that's fine. But you can't fall on a hood chick and not know you got a hood chick, end up having kids with a hood chick, and then wake up 6 years down the line, you got a baby mama who's a hood chick, and you're wondering how this happened. And now you broke and you got a hood chick because you're paying all types of money for some chick and her kid because you got a hood chick. You can't fall into these situations by accident. You need to be aware. You need to know what the heck is going on.